welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to round 6, game 3 of the City-State Championships. I'm InvexReynard, and not with me this week is Super Naked Zomby, as he is off doing things in the real world, which, well, it might sound overrated, understandable nonetheless. So it's just me this week, here to present you with round 6, game 3, Freljord taking on Noxus. Somewhere. Yeah, there's the Noxus team. Anyway, representing Freljord this time, the return of Lissandra in the mid lane. Nunu this time looking to go in the jungle. Volibear, what we're assuming is a support. Ashe into the bottom lane, marksman, AD carry, whatever. And Trundle going towards the top lane. Meanwhile, on the other side, we have Mundo in that jungle. LeBlanc going in the mid lane, not covering at all. Warwick in the jungle. LeBlanc in the mid lane, Warwick in the jungle, Draven ADC, and Morgana support, so not entirely unusual team coming out from either side here. Freljord, a little bit odd from there. They've had a lot of success with Trundles in the past. Ashe is their only AD carry choice. The Volibear is the most interesting thing here. This Volibear support, they've always run with the Nunu, and while there is some potential there in Volibear, there's also as much issue as there's a lot of issues with him. He will not scale up until much later in the game. He would not be able to be that big frontline tank. He doesn't have brilliant initiation, apart from being able to run at people, and he's going to have to dodge dark bindings if he does. Nunu going into the jungle though, we've seen the likes of Sejuani and others representing them in the jungle, but this time just opting to use Nunu in the jungle, who is a very powerful jungler. If you can get those smite consume combinations down, you can definitely provide a lot for his team. Lissandra returns to the mid lane as well, and these two champions, Trundle and Lissandra, have been big players in the past for these two. Meanwhile, on the other side, Mundo doing pretty good for them. Morgana support, as per usual, doing pretty good as well. Game sounds sound a bit low, but okay, whatever. We'll just keep going with it. So where do we sit with these two teams? Currently, Noxus is at the top of the league, even though they've played one less game than Piltover. Piltover lost their last match, putting them at 4-2. Freljord remain at 4-1. The team with the lowest win rate. Volibear going in early, forcing the flash out of Morgana already, so maybe it will be paying off. Keep an eye on this bottom lane. Yeah, Noxus sitting pretty at the top. If they take this one, they go the first team to 5 wins. Meanwhile, Freljord are sitting at 3-2 after a sterling start to the season. They have not had a victory in their last 2 games, losing to both Piltover and, of all people, Ionia. But we'll see how they do here. Either team winning here secures them a spot safely. Freljord will basically create a lockout where none of the lower teams should be able to get into the top zone. The only exception being Shadow Isles if they are victorious today and in round 7. But it all gets complicated at this end, and we'll just see who wins here today. Poke going back and forth. Volibear not able to connect, taking a lot of damage. Passive still hasn't been procced though, so he's alright. Ashe getting her farm on and getting a small advantage over Draven. Spellthief's Edge picked up here by Morgana as well, going to help her get that gold income. Looks like, yep, LeBlanc going to get aggressive. She's going to have a little bit of an advantage in these earlier trades over Lissandra. Lissandra's combos are pretty crappy, to be honest, and if she's silenced and LeBlanc's quick, she'll struggle to lay down some damage. I'm already running out of mana heavily here, as it looks like she's shoving the wave. Draven continuing to farm up down bottom here, the CS difference being made up a little bit. Nunu looking like he wants to come down and gank. Same on the top side of Warwick, but who will be more successful? Warwick going the whole long way round, but it looks like we're going in first here. Flash on Draven, Dark Binding connects in onto Volibear there, and nothing comes of it bot lane, but meanwhile top lane, we'll just see. Trundle managed to pick up the first blood before going down, probably to Warwick. The W's going to come up eventually, gets the heal. The auto attack and the red buff slow. The W goes down, and oh my god, Trundle gets out. Amazing. He just makes it. The slow and the autos, Warwick not able to chase that one down without Blood Scent at this point. Is it Blood Scent? Yeah, Blood Scent. If he had Blood Scent, that would have been a kill secured, but unfortunately not. Good play from Trundle there to pick up that kill on the Mundo beforehand. It looks like Mundo, don't know who really started on who, but both are going to have the teleports back to lane, but Mundo opts not to, so. Meanwhile in mid lane, we see the CS going in favour of LeBlanc, as she's bullying out this Lissandra, but Lissandra looks like she's gone back. Picked up Fairy Charms only though, so we're not seeing the domination of Lissandra at mid before, but then again she hasn't faced such a scary target as LeBlanc previously. Down at the bottom lane, we've got another 3-man gank, and there is no flash to Draven. The heal is used, trying to cut away, trying to use the damage. Ashe trying to get that slow on. Ooh, trying to go in under tower there, gets dog binding just outside the tower, and that isn't going to result in a kill for either side there. But a severe lack of summoner spells on the side of Noxus down bottom. But only one heal on the side of Freljord. Freljord with that first blood, only a couple hundred gold in it, as the Noxian champions are farming well in the other lanes. They're ahead in mid, behind on top. And bottom lane is almost equal, apart from the one summoner skill difference thus at the moment. It's hard to tell whether this Volibear is really working out. It has been 3-man pushes so far. Maybe Morgana was a little bit happy on the trigger finger, but Mundo's going to struggle against this Trundle to be fair. He's gonna want to build tank, but he's not going to be able to. The more tanky he builds, the more tank stats Trundle gets at the end of the day. And it's going to be something to consider. We've seen Trundles get out of control before, but we'll see. Lass going back and forth as Trundle. I don't like his new voice personally. A little bit of a not entertaining voice, if you ask me. It doesn't add any character to him, I feel, but hey, I'm not right. Volibear just returning to lane here. He opted for the ooh, good binding there. I don't think she's on the black soil. No, just not quite on the black soil, so a bit lucky there. Volibear choosing to run around a little bit. Opted for that Doran shield into Relic shield start. All the shields for him. Spell Thief's still the only item on Morgana, and Doran's Blade of Peace only on the ADCs. Both ADCs very low here. Both supports are going to have to be doing the fighting. And the CS remains a 5's difference in favour of Draven, as he is a very strong early CSer. Plenty of AD to help pick up those. Meanwhile, we see LeBlanc is 6 in the mid lane. Lissandra just levelling up there as we come over to her, and that should be able to stop the all-in coming from LeBlanc. Lissandra will be able to ult herself and probably block out the damage. Trading still going up on top, but nothing too much coming of it. Ooh, LeBlanc's got her ultimate up and ready again. We see Trundle not using his ultimate. How did Mundo get quite so low there? Who knows? I think they see the Warwick there from the minion vision, but not entirely sure. I'm not very good at spectator mode, can't really tell that one out. Gold's pretty much even again, and this is from the CS leads that they're accruing in mid and bottom lane, just making a little difference, as well as Warwick has got 10 more minions up. Nunu, a jungler who will struggle if he falls behind, is sort of in danger of doing that if he doesn't get successful ganks off or get any serious jungle farming going on. His jungle clear isn't, well, it is and it isn't. I don't know, I'm of two minds about it. Everyone's like, oh yeah, it's amazing, but to be honest, he's got the consume, but that's pretty much all he's got. We do see Nunu coming up to this top lane, but this is a very pushed in Mundo. He does not have his ultimate, and there is no ignite anyway, so. But looks like Nunu's going to take the double guns, well, nothing else going to happen. Blue going over to LeBlanc there in the mid lane. Warwick dutifully just holding that one there for her. Uses her ultimate to pick it up, because while we're not here to fuck around people, we're here to play the game. Noxian, well, Draven decides to back off. Morgana's hanging around, looks like she wants to pick up the CS in lieu of him. It's not really like they're shoving quite so hard. And it looks like Volibear is opting to pick up a few CS here as well, so that's something to keep in mind, because he has the Relic Shield. He will be picking up CS, so as long as those are of procs and they're going to Ashe, which I don't think he could have got that many thus far, especially considering he started with the Dorans and not the Relic, if I recall. That's him just picking up CS for the sake of picking up CS, which isn't terrible, as he will need some gold to be effective. Draven dropping an axe there. Bad plays, bad plays. The big Wraith, the white, taken by Trundle there. Nothing much happening. These teams feeling each other out a lot. Lissandra roaming up to this top lane, but Mundo's backing, and nothing's going to come of that. Yeah, Warwick has that level 6 now, so his ganks are extremely powerful if he can get it on to people. Mundo teleporting back to lane this time. Teleporting to minions though, the new there's not really a hell of a lot gained by doing that. I understand the lane's pushed against him, but he could have a shorter teleport time by teleporting to his tower these days. Oh, sweep it down onto it, and Freljord look to take a sneaky dragon. Morgana's back in lane. Ashe confirms Draven's position. LeBlanc is just happily farming in mid, thinking that she's stronger than Lissandra, which she definitely is at this point, but it looks like they want to two-man this dragon, and they're doing it fairly well. Nunu's very high on very high health right now, and has his passive been popped? Yeah, this passive of the... whatever it's called. What is his passive actually called? It is called Chosen of the Storm. Because that's what Volibear is apparently, even though like there's just one lightning thing in his ability. He does have like the skin, that's like the thunder thingy skin, whatever, I don't know Volibear too well. God, I wish we had Super Naked Zombie here. He'd know. He knows these things, he plays Volibear, I do not. But we're again into this bottom lane, unseen at this point. And if he gets the suppress down onto Ashe, that could be dangerous. Darkbinder going out and nicely dodged there by Ashe. Pretty obvious and telegraphed, but nonetheless good play. LeBlanc's also come down here, decides to lay some heavy damage down onto Nunu, gets the snare off successfully, and they're going to try and follow up, but I don't think they'll have the chance. Darkbinding does hit at point blank range onto Ashe. She's taking some damage. She's under half health, but uses the heal. Gets the arrow back in onto Morgana, and they get the flip up, but she gets the flash away from tower. Draven all picking up Volibear as he takes a lot of damage. Warwick black shielded and flashing out over the wall there. Lissandra coming in the background. The black shield just able to stop the ultimate there, but she does pick up the kill eventually, but there's still 3 Noxian champions on this tower, and Lissandra is in behind them. She doesn't have her ultimate. LeBlanc manages to pick up Ashe underneath the turret there. Very good assassination. Darkbinding picking off Lissandra there. The 3 of them together might have enough damage, but they choose not to take the fight, and it ends with 2 for 1 in favour of Noxus. Ashe and Volibear going down there after what looked to be a fairly impressive play, catching the Morgana under tower. Good reactions by her to get herself out, and also to delay Warwick's death, who did also burn Lissandra's flash to get that one out. So LeBlanc are 1-0-1. Draven are 1-0-1. That is bad news for Freljord if those champions start getting rolling. LeBlanc will not hesitate to pick off people like Ashe, and she'll even be able to seriously chunk down people like Trundle unless he's got Subjugate, that's what it's called, down. A lot of respect for how... oh, we see Warwick in onto this top lane, doesn't have his ultimate. Mundo taking a lot of damage here. Subjugate is down, but Mundo gonna get in under tower there. Still got his flash up as well. We see Nunu coming in, using the ultimate there. Trundle in deep onto tower, taking a lot of tower hits, and this is too deep, and he goes down to the Dr.Mundo. There we go, so a good reactionary play there from both junglers to get in there and help their top lanes out, but in the end Trundle a little bit too greedy, a little bit too deep, and ends up going down for it. Ping's going down bottom lane and not much happening, just the ward wars that happen in these lanes. So yes, 15 ahead for Draven, but Volibear has some CS in it, and he has shared 99 gold, which is only around about 5-6 minions, depending on what he's actually procced off of it. There we go, that's another one. LeBlanc here in onto the top lane. Suppression down onto Nunu. LeBlanc doesn't get the activator, the second proc with the signal yet. She does have her ultimate available, but she's not using it. And that was a little bit off, but meanwhile down the bottom lane, looks like they managed to catch out as Ashe, and Draven picking up that kill there with that arrow not used either. And I'm not quite sure how they picked on that. It must have been just a straight pick off and too much damage for her to handle. No, someone is up. Yeah. My headset's broken, you see, so I can't hear sounds when they come out on the right hand side, which doesn't really bother me because things that come out stereo are fine, but because this game does some... I don't know. Just talking shit. I don't quite know how LeBlanc wasn't able to pick up that kill onto top lane onto the Nunu. Missed several of her abilities, yes, but did have the ultimate up, at least on our screen. I don't know whether that was just a spectating mode, but I doubt it. But because she's been doing so much roaming, her tower is down to very low health, and in response, there's only about a quarter of best taken off. But the Freljordian turret down bottom is under heavy attack, and they will have to get some relief forces down there to help them out soon. Freljord have also had a good shove onto this top turret here, and it's pretty much the story of both the top and mid lane, but we do see LeBlanc doing a much better job having kills under her belt. But no, Dr.Mundo also has a kill now after the greed of Trundle coming back to bite him in the arse. And They're farming minions down bottom. Draven getting a little bit more of a CS lead here, obviously because of Ashe's death. They do see Lissandra coming in there. The black shield going in onto Draven, and the arrow whips. That's pretty bad. The eco misses that close range, but unfortunately she does, and the perfect shot Ashe is no more. Ping going down onto Dragon. I doubt Noxus are aware that it was actually taken later. That or they're just pinging Nunu's retreat, or the fact that Nunu was in that area. But failed gang there by Noxus. 4 people towards that bottom lane and not able to get anything. Noxus don't manage to take the dragon though and responds knowing that those ultimates are down. But despite... where did Trundle apparently taking a blue buff here. I think he's taking that over Lissandra. Lissandra scared of her... what's the word I'm looking for? She's very fragile in this mid lane against this LeBlanc. If LeBlanc chooses to go in, she has a high probability of dying. Trundle picks up first tower blood, taking down that top as Mundo apparently unable to help him. Noxus quickly answer in the bottom lane, and we've got a big fight going down here. Soul Shackle's going off, but Nunu's in the back line, and he's in onto Draven. Still doesn't have vision of him. He does now. He still hasn't. There we go. We finally see the E coming out. Draven flashing away. That is going to be a dead Morgana. Ultimate coming out of Nunu there, and he picks up the Draven as well. So a 2 for 0 in the bottom lane. Mundo getting out just in top lane, but no, not dying there to the subjugate of the Trundle. And Trundle is going to go hard in onto this Warwick as well and force him out as well. So Trundle answers back, and yeah, good fights for Freljord, as well as they get to pick up the dragon that's just respawned now. So Freljord doing very well there, picking up those 2 kills down bottom lane after the turret goes down, but worth, as they do pick up the 1 for nothing trade in top lane after the turret as well. Trundle once again becoming a huge problem for the enemy team here. And Lissandra 2-0 as well, not to be ignored. She may not be on one of the rampages that we've seen Lissandra's in past games go on, but she will definitely be scary, and she can definitely single-handedly turn the tides of team fights. If her ultimate lands on Draven or LeBlanc, they could cause huge problems, as well as she's very good at anti-disengage as well. Pushed up very far here though, as we say about it, and doesn't look like LeBlanc will follow in. Trundle just poking his head around the jungle here as well. Lissandra just going to flit out as Morgana makes her way up to the river. Bloodthirster completed down onto Draven, and opts for a BF sword afterwards. When he goes straight for Infinity Edge, multiple Bloodthirsters, I think some armor penetration might be quite good, though there's no apparent huge amounts of armor on the other team. Just with the last whisper you can guarantee you're doing near true damage, and it just makes you formidable. Nice pink ward down in the little bush there. Don't know how long that's been there. Could have been the whole game as far as I know, but we'll see. Gold! 2.2k in favour of Freljord, and that's 2 kills, an extra tower, and a little bit of, well, 50 farm in the form of Trundle. And the farm down bottom is a little bit against them, as well as the mid lane, but Trundle really pulling his weight here. Ooh, that could be a big fight bomb. They get the E down onto Warwick, getting the thing. Flash flip there from it, but response suppression down onto the Volibear. He's not quite tanky enough yet, but his passive is procced and he is healing up. Well, Nunu's got all the way around the other side of the wall. Arrow coming down, breaks through the shield, but doesn't actually get the stun off. They get the E down onto her, and Lissandra gets the finishing blow with the icicle. Stand aside there, hitting all 3 of them, and even knocking Ashe into tower range. But LeBlanc has been procced to low health, as well as Trundle continues to shove hard on the top lane, taking down that that inner turret as well, and forcing Mundo back yet again. And Mundo just cannot compete with this Trundle. Trundle is a very good tank destroyer, but Nunu going too far into tower there, and LeBlanc just picking him off easily, which is unfortunate, and puts a push in that mid lane to an end. But they did get half the health of that turret and a few good kills, and a very easy team fight in their favour. And this is the problem: if they can't stop Trundle, he's just going to keep pushing. If they don't face him, he'll just keep pushing, and they can't stop him pushing anyway. So it's probably better if Dr.Mundo just joins up with the rest of the team and they try the 5v4 team fight and then push faster than Trundle can alone. But we'll have to see what happens. LeBlanc could try to roam up there as well. He doesn't have them. I'd say he doesn't have all that much magic resist. He picked up a spirit visage, so that's bullshit. he is now going to be a massive problem. DFG on the side of LeBlanc, so she will be able to utilise that, but with the Spirit Visage now, and if he subjugates, I don't know, man. I don't know if Trundle can be stopped. He's only at 2-1, but he's got a boatload of farm. He is about 30 farm clear of the nearest person, who is Draven in the bottom lane. Mid lane is pretty much even now, which is nice to see. Lissandra doing good jobs, just shoving that wave constantly as LeBlanc roamed around the map, sometimes successfully, sometimes unsuccessfully. It's going to be a fight over this blue buff now. Looks like Trundle is going to give it over to Lissandra. She's much more confident now when we're out of the lane. Oh no. Okay, they're giving it to Trundle yet again, and I guess he'll just be up to top lane. Will they try and take control of this Baron area? Who knows? Looks like they may try and go 3-man Dr.Mundo, which might be a bit overkill at this point. He does have ultimate, but nothing else available. Gets the opening with the Blade of the Ruined King onto him there. Lissandra across the wall, gets the snare in on place. Random moments bust from him, but ultimate out from Lissandra, and his ultimate is not going to help him at all as they try to give the kill over to not Dr.Mundo. Trundle, he's not able to actually do the damage through the sadism, I'd like to say. Yeah, sadism, and they're on the chase once again. Mundo back down to low health, and they think, fuck it, let's just pick out the kill. But they spend a lot of time up there, and meanwhile, boom. Bottom lane is getting shoved in against them, and it looks like they're losing the fight a little bit, as well as mid tower will go down. So Mundo dies, but buys enough time for his team to grab an objective. And Freljord are going to steal a red buff, and Noxus will know about this one. So, what does this mean for the league if it finishes as it appears to be? Oh, point blank arrow straight into the face of Draven. No time to black shield that one. Stand aside, but good damage going down. Heal used from Volibear there, yes. It doesn't look like they'll be able to get the catch up there. Morgana playing that very well. She's still got shoal shackles available, and there is no ultimate on the other side. Does dodge the dark binding, but not able to catch up to the enemy team. And no kills either side there, but a lot of summoners blown from everyone. And mid lane, Nunu wandering a bit too close to that again. Nunu's opted for Spirit of the Ancient Golem, going into a Haunting Guise, boots of swiftness as well, and possibly might be building into like an Age of the Legion or something. I don't know. No magic mantle, fairy charm. What the fuck do you build that into? Nothing. But it's semi-tanky. Oh, Lissandra pops over the wall there. Flash from Warwick means that Lissandra ults herself, possibly by mistake, but LeBlanc turning around a lot of damage onto that Lissandra there. And looks like Dr.Mundo is going to come down, picks that one up with a cleaver, but Trundle's managed to pick up LeBlanc on the turret, but he will go down, the kill goes over to Warwick, so what looked like Freljord's advantage very quickly turned around onto them, and two of their carriers, the two solo laners who've been doing very well up to this point, both get taken down. More importantly, that's a shutdown onto Lissandra, who did have a lot of gold in her as a bounty. Bottom lane though, Ashe and Volibear pushing this one up. They could take this tower, but then we're definitely going to lose this inner turret as well. Draven not hitting that hard. Still hasn't bought off that PF sword. I wonder what he'll be buying. But that's the bottom turret going down there. Freljord picking that one up, and they will back, but it's too late in this inner turret. Just a turret trade, but they lose the mid inner, and that is the turret you do not want to be losing. Looks like they're going to group for Dragon now and pick that one up. It'll be Noxus' first Dragon of the game, 2-1 in favour of Freljord of those Dragons, and 3k gold, ooh, well, about 2.5k gold lead really, isn't it, in favour of Freljord still after that little mishap of play, but Noxus not out of this one yet. They have the potential to win team fights to make these pickups. Draven is fairly strong. I'd imagine he'd be going back to buy. He should have a lot of gold. He's got 1600 gold actually, not as much as I'd imagine he'd done it, but get at this point, but he should have a lot of stacks. It's very hard to see on this map, but I'm guessing that's probably like, there can't be 14 stacks, can it? Oh, he got an assist, didn't he? It does proc off assist? No, it doesn't proc off assist. He has to kill them, doesn't he? Well, I play him all the time. Why wouldn't I know that? That's so stupid. Trundle pushing in the top lane. Meanwhile, 4 members of Freljord in this mid lane pushing into this turret. Noxus scrambling out of their base, sending Mundo to go top, face off against this Trundle once again and see if he's finally got what it takes. Probably not. Draven coming through, trying to clean the wave in mid. Gets a little hit onto Ashe as well. And that is Freljord's mid lane push stopped, but Trundle is not being pushed top lane. They get a good catch out onto Lissandra there. Ashe Arrow has to come out to stop Warwick catching up there, as well as Lissandra's flash. Nunu finds himself on the wrong side of a team here and is just going to back out. He could end up getting suppressed here if he's not careful. Ooh, laughing out as he does get away from that one, but Trundle now finds himself on the wrong side of shit city as LeBlanc, Draven and Morgana continue to push this top lane as Warwick cannot decide where he wants to go. Trundle is recalling from this top lane, so they managed to relieve that pressure by putting enough threat on the rest of the team. Binding, chain gonna miss there from LeBlanc, E coming out, but into a black shield, no problem at all. Morgana has been fairly on point with these black shields thus far. This is the best counter we've seen thus far. In previous games where Freljord have started to run away with victories, is because the enemy team has no effective way to stop the engages, their hard CC, the Ashe, the Lissandra ults. Those kind of things just make such easy picks for the Freljord team that they're able to snowball that victory. But they've not been able to do that so much this game. Good use of the black shield has kept carries safe as well as created just obstacles for the Freljordian team, and it looks like Noxus is ready to fight. They send out the dark binding, but it does not connect onto Ashe. Draven going a little bit deep there and gets flipped back by the Volibear. He drops very quickly. Mundo has teleported down, and there's just a clusterfuck of shit going on inside of that, and that is not working out well for Noxus as we see LeBlanc falling as well. Warwick's down for a double kill to Lissandra there, and that was just terrible. Draven a little over aggressive there. Very quickly taken out. Volibear very quick on the finger with the flash and the flip him over the head. And a grouped up AoE team fight with Lissandra and Nunu inside of that. You do not want to be stood inside all of the icy domains that this team can throw down. And very quickly, LeBlanc and Warwick fell to, and they're pushing in on this mid tower now. They're trying to defend. They're getting a lot of damage down onto this Volibear, and he will go down to the Morgana. Draven coming out there, not doing a hell of a lot of damage, clearing the wave a little bit. They do manage to take the turret, so that's an open in here, but it cost them a life with Volibear. They do get the catch out onto Trundle as well, and it looks like he runs the wrong way for a second. Cleaver just going to barely miss, or briefcase. Nunu coming out, and Mundo just surviving on the backside there. Very low health. All of Noxus is here to respond. Trundle is basically dead, and if he stays much longer, he could very well be. He's getting chased down onto. We've got Warwick coming in there. He does not have injured rest just yet, but now he does, and he gets in on top of Lissandra. She busts the barrier, but it's not going to be enough as he just twats her to death. Now, there's 2 loss on the escape there. Trundle living, I don't really know how, on a sliver of health. Is that cleaver connected? Dead Trundle? Didn't. No dead Trundle. So Noxus have to find themselves a man advantage now, but only one. Volibear already respawned, being low. Well, it's not actually that low. Does get the flip there onto Warwick, but Warwick is a very tanky beast. Got himself a frozen mallet and throw the ancient golem, but this tower is dropping very quickly. And if Freljord want to fight, they got to do it now. Damage going down onto Mundo and onto Warwick, but those are the tanks, and they don't really care. They do get the flip again onto Draven, and he is just going to die. Soul Shackle's going to stun down the Trundle there. LeBlanc in the backside does manage to pick up Ashe finally, but she's in trouble herself now. She does turn around, slow down onto. That's such an unnecessary ult from Nunu, but it does pick up the kill. LeBlanc, they've got one on either side of it, and I think they know which one the real one is. That chain confirms it. And Trundle picks up another kill. So 4 deaths there. 4 for 2. Well, yeah, 4 for 2 in favour of Freljord. They pick up those. Still no one choosing to go for the Baron. And once again, we see a Freljord game starting to drag on. And this has not always gone well for them. They nearly lost to Shadow Isles. They definitely lost to Ionia. Actually, I think that was more of a quick victory. But anyway, Freljord has a tendency to drag on games longer than they need to. The gold is still fairly close. 3 to 4k in it. And and the longer it goes on, the more time there is for other people to catch up. It looks like, to avoid his stats being stolen, Mundo has opted to go for a Warmogs. Not terrible at all. Warmogs is a great item for him. He has not decided to go for a Spirit Visage though. A pretty core item on Mundo these days. Gives him that extra healing from his ultimate. I'd like to see that come out. There isn't a ton of magic damage on the other side, and he is mainly just dueling off against Trundle subjugate instantly down onto the Mundo. They're getting a lot of damage onto him. Sadism finally coming out. They're going to try and get the flip, but the black shield comes out, and now Volibear finds himself on the wrong side. Warwick's on the backside versus 3 and can't do anything. LeBlanc trying to sneak around the side there. There isn't a clear shot to Ashe just yet. Ashe knows she's there as well, and looks like, ooh, she does manage to blow up the Ashe just before she goes down, but that's a 1-for-1 trade as Trundle fights off the other 3 members of Noxus. Still a very low Draven knocking about at the back of the Noxus team there, but they're able to stop it. But it's a 4v3 push, and Draven cannot help out in this defense. He will drop. They don't have Ashe to poke it down, but they still have some very strong champions. Good spell shield again, not going to cause Dr.Mundo to get caught out, but Freljord don't really care who they start a fight on, they just want to start a fight at this point. Noxus know when they get a good team fight they can win it, or if any chance of a pick off they can take it. But in a full, massive, messy team fight, Trundle is singularly too strong. Ashe arrow can be shot from almost anywhere and be super useful compared to the Draven ult. A lot of damage, but it ain't gonna stun anyone. They're also going to pick up the tower. 3 dragons even. 3-1 in dragons now. Open inhib, so they could let that inhib push, go for the Baron, or use that inhib's pressure to push down other lanes. Only one tower remains outside of the base for Noxus, and that's in this bottom lane. What will Freljord do? Find out after the break. Ah, yes, Draven as well has decided to go for that Infinity Edge, and now looks like he's going for that Last Whisper on it. I think he could have used the Last Whisper earlier. Once he gets it though, he will be hitting like a truck. The Infinity Edge obviously help him, but he has no additional crit chance to really make use of that item yet. And he's obviously not buying attack speed yet. Even just a Zeal would make it a little bit of a more cost-effective item. Volibear on the other side has decided to go for a Blade of the Ruined King. Why not? And a Zeal himself, Phage, looks like there might be a Trinity Force on those, may just be the makings of items that he wants. He's got a fair amount of attack speed, going to make use of that lightning. Blade of the Ruined King does have its uses. He has sold that relic shield that he had as well. I don't really know. I hate to say that it's not great, but it's sort of working. Sometimes, like, anyone goes out of position, a flash flip really fucking makes the difference at this point, and it's caught Draven a couple times, but he could catch him here. Flash soul shackles from Morgana there, both of them going to get out. Lissandra taking that change there, but gonna get suppressed by Warwick as well. But Trundle in the backline, and he's versus 4, whilst Warwick is versus 4. Warwick's the first to fall, and Trundle's barely been scratched. He's taking damage now, but that's only from the LeBlanc burst, and she doesn't have much left in her. Still waiting on the cooldown of her ultimate. She gets the Lissandra ultimate to the face, and that's a double kill for Lissandra. Mundo finds himself caught out behind a pillar now, and they follow down in onto him. Nunu chasing to the top lane. Mundo going to try and lead them away from the base, but it's not going to do much. Only Volibear following Mundo, and not going to quite catch up to him as Freljord continue to fight into the base. Lissandra remaining aggressive. Volibear still chasing this Dr.Mundo. Blade of the Ruined King goes down. There is no sadism available. He's just going to try and kite him. Volibear's passive kicks in and starts to hit him up, and Dr.Mundo realises he really is quite fucked at this point. Duking him out amongst all the bushes, and that's really all we've got to watch as, oh wait, the base is dying! One inhibitor turret down, one Nexus turret down, 2 Nexus turrets down. Warwick is back alive, does not have infinite to rest just yet, but LeBlanc is now up as well, and if people like Ashe stand around, they could die. Nunu very quickly down into Draven, but that's the Nexus, as they cannot stop Trundle attacking it. Game goes to Freljord. Freljord return to their previous form in a hard-fought battle against Noxus and take the victory there. That puts them to 4-2, as well as putting Noxus to 4-2. So we now have 3 teams sat at the 4-2 mark. Wait, no. Yeah, 4-2 mark. Piltover, Noxus and Freljord. Marcia at the 4-3. No, why not? I have no idea what the Marcia are on anymore, but I don't know what any of the league is. This is what happens when he's not here. I just have to talk constantly. I'm sorry this wasn't as good as the normal broadcast. One day Zomby will be back, but you've got to suffer through it for the next game as well, which should be right back.